This Halloween season, I have a confession to make. I can't stand zombies. I'm not saying I'm scared of them, I'm saying I can't take zombies seriously. I hate zombie movies, TV shows, or pretty much anything else involving them. Part of it is that I just don't think they're scary, part of it is that the genre has become so oversaturated, there's really no originality in it anymore, and part of it is that zombies are just so unrealistic. And that's probably not fair. I mean, I watch movies with ghosts, read books with interdimensional clown demons, and play video games featuring bug knights fighting the god of light. But for some reason, zombies just push my suspension of disbelief too far. Zombies are just impossible. Or at least that's what I thought. For years, I've argued that a zombie virus could never actually exist. But recently, after diving into the research and the biology of the undead, I think traditional zombies are the least of our worries. Yeah, the limping, moaning, brain-hungry corpses are scary, but the things that are coming are much, much worse. The zombie apocalypse is real, my friends, and it's more terrifying than you ever thought possible. Welcome to Singularity. My main problem with zombies has always been the idea of raising the dead. See, while the specifics will vary depending on temperature, humidity, environment, and other factors, thanatologists, and yes, that is the real name for scientists who study the process of death, have pretty much tracked exactly what happens to a body after you die. In the first 15 to 30 minutes, blood stops flowing, causing your skin to turn pale, especially around the face, and your body temperature to steadily drop. A few hours later, muscles start to stiffen, becoming rigid and fragile. About 6 hours after death, blood has settled in the bottom of the body, developing a bluish-purple tint as gravity pulls it down. And at 12 hours, rigor mortis reaches its peak. 18 hours after death, body temperature is dropped to match ambient temperature, and running alongside all of this is a process called AUTOLYSIS, or self-digestion, where cell membranes start breaking down and your body literally starts to eat itself from the inside out. After this, the gases in the digestive tract start to expand, causing bloating. Eventually, the pressure builds and bursts out of the body like Mentos in Diet Coke. During the stage of active decay or putrefaction, the corpse becomes an all-you-can-eat buffet for insects, mushrooms, and other scavengers. Decomposition fluid starts wearing down the body, the tissue disintegrates faster and faster. About 25 days after death, the body has reached a point where there's nothing left to decompose. It's all been eaten or rotted away. All that's left now is for what's left of the flesh to fall off. Even if a potential zombie virus could get to a corpse before it's rotted so much that it's not recognizable anymore, you still have to deal with the dissolving cells, the liquefaction of the insides, stiff, fragile muscles, complete lack of blood flow. Any body that's been dead for longer than an hour is never too far away from just falling apart. It's common in fiction to see zombies running, breaking down fences or doors, sometimes even using tools or weapons. But in reality, a corpse that's been dead for longer than an afternoon would barely be able to walk. So let's forget about corpses. Guys, zombies are real. Not necessarily the living undead, but something close, something more real, and something far more terrifying. If I were a mad scientist and I wanted to craft a zombie virus to build an army or just wreak havoc, I wouldn't bother with raising the dead. It's too much of a hassle. I would get the next best thing. An army of mindless drones that might as well be dead. And I'd start with rabies. While rabies doesn't usually bother humans at all, one version of it, the Rabies Lyssavirus, does. It affects the nervous system, causing rabid bouts of rage, decreased cognitive abilities, and hyper-aggressive behaviors. Researchers Giuseppe Lippi and Giancarlo Cervellin think that this could be an early form of an actual human zombie virus. All you would have to do is modify it to spread faster and hit harder, and zombies cross the line from fiction to fact. mindless and violent, this is exactly what we've been seeing for years. But why bother with possibilities? I mean, that level of viral modification could take decades. No, we can do better. There have already been cases of zombification, mostly in Haiti. Now, zombie mythology actually started in Haiti. Zombies were more of slaves mind-controlled through voodoo, and eventually, mostly because of the movie Night of the Living Dead, zombies became, in the cultural consciousness, what they are today. Originally, it was a mythology, a folktale. It was a way of representing the actual terrifying conditions that African slaves had to deal with by telling stories of witch doctors that would take control of your mind. But there were reports of actual zombies. And scientifically speaking, it's not that crazy. How could it happen? Pufferfish. The toxin that pufferfish use is called Tetrodotoxin. It's deadly to humans. In large enough quantities, it shuts down the nervous system, stopping you from moving or even breathing. But if you could administer Tetrodotoxin or some compound of it with enough precision, you could put someone in a near-death coma. Do that for a few days, bring them back disoriented, and let them roam free, causing chaos that a dead man rose from the grave, and boom, you've got zombies. But I know, that's not satisfactory. That's not what we're looking for. It won't do what we need it to. But you know what will? Cordyceps unilateralis, the scientific name for a fungus that infects Brazilian carpenter ants. Better known as just Cordyceps, it is legitimately terrifying. When Cordyceps infects a host, it starts innocent enough, but slowly takes over the ant's entire nervous system, eventually taking complete control of its body and movements. For all practical purposes, the ant is brain dead, a slave to the will of the fungus. It'll be forced to leave the colony, climbing up to an ideal climate for the fungus to grow. And once the fungus has developed, it will burst out of the ant's head, not just killing the host, but raining the fungus down onto the ants below to restart the whole cycle. Scary stuff, right? Just imagine if our hypothetical mad scientist used Cordyceps as the basis of his zombie virus. You think The Walking Dead is scary? Imagine if you had zombies that were just as physically strong as regular humans. In fact, with the nervous system completely under control of the fungus, you could just turn off someone's ability to feel pain. These zombies are completely obedient, completely immune to pain and harm. Regular zombies are slow, rotting, and overall easy enough to keep away from. These zombies can run at full speed until their heart gives out, have a higher pain tolerance than any normal human, and can punch hard enough to shatter their own fists without feeling a thing. Humanity without limitation. And when they're all done, when the zombie is useless and on the verge of death, the fungus detonates, exploding out of their head and infecting anyone nearby. This virus even spreads faster than anything else. You don't need to get bitten. You just need to be anywhere nearby when the fungus goes supernova. But what if we could go even further? What if you could build a zombie army that was just as powerful as that, but didn't even know that they were zombies? Sleeper agents that are already infected, already spreading the virus, but even they don't know it yet. You would have Toxoplasma Gondii. Toxoplasma Gondii is a unique parasite that can infect almost any mammal, but for strange chemical reasons can only reproduce inside of a cat's gut. To get there, T. Gondii hitches a ride on rats. Here we get to see the amazing ability of Toxoplasma Gondii. Once it's in the rats, it will turn off their fear. Yeah, rats infected by Toxoplasma Gondii don't feel fear anymore. And that's the only real change. Everything else is completely normal, but when a cat comes along looking for a tasty rodent snack, infected rats don't know to be afraid and run away. Instead, they get eaten, and T. Gondii gets a free ride into the gut of a cat to reproduce. So what if we modified it to work on people? A subtle infection, one that will modify behavior to continue its spread but not make itself known outright yet. Make people more social, more promiscuous, more likely to spread the infection. And whenever it's ready, It can do everything Cordyceps can do and more. Modify behavior, dampen pain, but also increase loyalty, increase aggression. Maybe if someone tries to defy the parasite, light up the pain receptors. There's virtually nothing that a zombie virus of this level couldn't do. Yes, it would be difficult. It would require technology and scientific breakthroughs that we're still generations away from. We would need to be able to not only weaponize, but precisely modify and control Toxoplasma Gondii, but it is possible. We're already working on some of those very technologies. If a zombie apocalypse were to ever become reality, it wouldn't look like limping corpses walking through a wasteland looking for brains to devour. It would look like regular people, just as strong and fast as anyone else, but without our limitations. Able to run as fast as they can for as long as they can, lift as much as their bodies can handle. Whoever created this virus could control the population, not just their bodies, but their minds. Who knows? Maybe the zombies have already come. We wouldn't be able to tell. And if they have, all hope is lost. This is Singularity, and remember to stay curious.